Hey folks, welcome to Fluketronic. Today we're going to be continuing our tips series, that's theory into practice, and we're even going to give you some practice at the end. So what we're going to be talking about today is completing the natural minor scale, and this will be continuing on from our last lesson, which basically did the notation system and note names for the pentatonic minor scale. And just a quick review, I'll show you the chart and the note names. For pentatonic minor, and it's A, C, D, E, G, A. Okay, and today we're going to look at filling in the missing notes, the B and the F notes there. So to do that, we're going to start with F. Okay, so if you think about where D and E lie, here's D, E, and then G. F is right in the middle. So the way you form that, if you're not familiar with this fingering, usually easiest to start with the D note. So 3 fingers on the left hand and the index finger on the right hand, or opposite if you're left-handed. The top 4 holes closed. And usually to go from D to E, you would just lift this finger. But to go from D to F, you're just going to open that 3rd hole. So that's your F note. So that takes some getting used to. If all you're used to is pentatonic minor, you're probably taught to hold down that 3rd finger on the top always to get your pentatonic minor. But now we're breaking from that, and we'll start opening that 3rd hole. So again, it's real easy coming from D to F. It takes a little practice coming from, say, either E or G, because you've got fingers moving in different directions. But just try and get the fingering down and practice going from different locations. So with a little practice, you'll get that down. Now that one's easiest. Now let's talk about B. So on the A flute, there are actually 2 B notes available. You have a high B and a low B. The low B is a little bit tricky because you have to what's called half hole the bottom note. That's kind of misnamed because it's not necessarily half the hole, but what you do is you don't cover it completely. And here's what it sounds like. So I'll play the C note, and then, well, let's do it this way. Here's A, C. Now I'm going to use my bottom finger to just partially cover that lowest hole. So you get that in between A, B, C. So you can kind of hear that progression. And one thing that can help is to use a tuner app. I've got a tuner app on my iPhone here. You might have a handheld tuner, like for a guitar tuner or something. It can help for you to get the sound of that note in your head if you can use the tuner. So I'm going to watch the tuner this time and make sure I'm playing that note right on. So that time I had to back my voice, my breath pressure way off to bring the note down because it was too sharp. So there's ways of dealing with that, you know, but it just kind of takes practice to know how much breath, how much finger you put on it to get the note. And, you know, if you're playing a song, you don't really have to think about it that hard. But during practice, it's good to know, am I playing it in tune or not? And just get a feel for what that note sounds like. and what it sounds like next to surrounding notes. So that's a good thing to practice. Now that's the low B. You also have the high B. So this gets into the upper octave on the Native American flute. So here again, the tuner is useful because once you get past that high A, fingerings can tend to vary for the upper register on the NAF. So one fingering that's most common goes like this. You leave the bottom and the top hole empty. So it's 2 fingers on each hand, and that's what this flute does. So I'll play the A note and then the B note. Okay. And that's easier because you don't have to half hole. It does take a little bit of practice with how much breath pressure you need to hit that note. But that's generally pretty solid and stable note on most NAFs. Okay, so that's that. Those are the individual notes. So let's play the whole scale. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of the lesson. You've got 3 new notes to play with, and you can sprinkle those about in your playing, wherever you get the mood. But I'm going to leave you with a link to a practice track, and you can use this track to practice just your pentatonic minor scale or the natural minor scale and some other things. It's going to be pretty versatile, so we'll be returning to this practice track several times over the next few tips. So I'm just going to play a little bit to give you an idea. So I'll just do part of it. Okay, so this will be pentatonic minor to start, and we'll just play 1 time through the loop. All right, so that was 1 time through the loop, and I'll add some chord names if you're used to that, but you can just kind of play with that and see which notes fit better over which chords. And the real track will have like 5 minutes, so plenty of time to stretch out and practice those. Now let's do the same 1 more time, and now we'll start adding in some of those B and F notes, and we'll see what that sounds like. So you get the idea. And again, I'll give you the link to the full practice track. So if you feel like recording yourself to that and want to give a post back here, I'd love to hear what you do with it. That's all for today. So until next time, have fun and thanks for watching Lucatronic.